Hey, I don't know if I need to light on. At least this time I do not have my mic muted. So welcome to the Square Circle Podcast. I am Marie Shadows. I'm the host and the creator of the Square Circle Podcast, and we are live on Twitch and YouTube. I no longer want to go live on Twitter just because it does kind of help, I guess, get my name out there and people can watch it as they're scrolling through Twitter and stuff like that. And then they like what I have to say. They'll follow me on Twitter, which is great. But in the end, it doesn't really help. I can't really get the analytics from Twitter. I could only see like how many people viewed it and stuff like that. But the actual analytics that I rely on in order to grow my live stream and the channel doesn't really help me with the Twitter side. So stuff like the analytics from Twitch and YouTube, those help me. I do not have a degree in like analytics to really understand everything, but I understand the basics of like how to get more this, more that, different viewers and stuff. So yeah. Why? Okay, I don't know. I just got a message request from somebody. Uh, so I'll check out that message request from somebody. But if it's a weird name and then numbers, you know, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, the reason why I don't want to use Twitter is only because it doesn't give me the analytics, and then I don't know if people on Twitter saw it, and if they saw it, they don't give me feedback or anything like that. So yeah, I can see where it can be a good thing, and also I can see where it really can't be a good thing and it's just there, just to be there. Uh, AJ Rob, what's up? Yeah, man. We're still gonna be talking about Jay, and breaking stuff down some more. Just because there's a lot more stuff to unpack. There's a lot more stuff that happened on the Twitter timeline today on Sunday, and I think in wrestling, if it's not Bullet Club creating story, it's WWE creating story with Roman, which I know might be a shocker to like most of you guys hearing me say that, but it's actually sort of true. If it's not Bullet Club and New Japan Pro Wrestling creating some type of like hot ass story, it's WWE doing that with Roman. Because I really can't tell you like the hottest story in AEW. If you guys can tell me the hottest story in AEW, put it down in chat. I just don't think there is a hot story in AEW. You know, Hangman doesn't really have a hot story other than like he's putting on 60-minute matches, really long matches, hardcore matches. And these are like big moments, and there's breathing room like in between them, but the build-ups are kind of like sucky in a way. So like if he's trying to be this champion of that, he goes 0 to 100 in these big matches. Why? Those big matches should mean something, especially if you have like a build up that's meant to lead to these big matches. And then also he gets like put into the shadow depending on who he's feuding with. Like I know that when he feud with Danielson, that like the spotlight was on Danielson. Danielson has a bigger star power than Hangman. Don't try to debate me on that because that's 100% true. Danielson has a bigger star power than Hangman. So, that's why that one was just like lackluster. But then when it came to the match, Danielson like was having Hangman work it, to make it really good. And then we get like two matches of that, two really big matches. And there's no like in between type of thing. Um, and then after that, we got him versus Archer. Archer is racking up wins on Dark and Dark Elevation against, unfortunately, nobodies, even though they're on the indies and trying to make a name for themselves. But when you do not have a video package for them, to introduce them to us so that we know who they are, because everyone around the world is not going to be going to the local indies of where they wrestle at in their hometown to be like, oh my god, I saw that guy on AEW and stuff like that. They're not going to do that. So you really do have to like hold a fan's hand and can't expect the casual fan who's like, on YouTube, and maybe after the YouTube video is finished, AEW gets suggested to them and they're like, oh, I haven't watched wrestling in years. All they know is probably like, WWE, but then when they watch AEW, they're like, who are these guys? If you're not giving the indie wrestlers that come onto the show, um, some type of video package, some type of thing that says, hi, I'm so and so, or whatever it is, then basically, you're not doing it right. You're not giving them the time of day. They're giving you, Tony Khan, their time and their effort and their hard work to be featured on AEW Dark, so that way they can get a leg up. However, if you're not gonna provide them the same sort of respect back and forth by just doing a quick little video package, or letting them like do their own video package of like, you know what? I shouldn't say video package. I should say promo. Doing their own promo, so that way when it's released, it's like, oh, this is who they are, and they have that as a little snippet. So that way, a casual fan who doesn't go to their local indies can appreciate, if they're tuning in on YouTube, to be like, oh, okay, that's an indie wrestler. That's that. But yeah, if Tony is going to make AEW his way and not listen to a constructive criticism like that, then I don't know if he's ever gonna like listen to people. I wish he would listen to people. I wish that he'll stop revealing his hand whenever he's on Busted Open Radio and they're like, "Ooh, what big surprises you have," or like dirt sheets protecting him and AEW, and then when Kenny does almost like a tell all type of thing, it's like, um, you know, it's very eye opening, which we all called it. We all called the really weird red flags, and then, we're just like, this makes total sense for why it's like this. So basically, yeah, I just wish that, things were a little bit more ordered and structured in AEW. And the only reason why I'm talking about AEW first is because I was saying that the hottest stories right now is Bullet Club. The hottest story right now, aside from that, is whatever Roman Reigns is doing in WWE, along with Brock Lesnar and with Lashley. So those are the biggest stories where I can dive into it and give you guys a different perspective, and even help any of the casual fans that are going through Twitch and YouTube and hearing this can understand, like, what's happening a little bit more. If you are not like too into this at all. So yeah. Again, if you can tell me what's the biggest story in AEW, I would love, 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 love to hear it. Speaking of AEW, right? I'm probably gonna jump all around here. I should go from like company to company to company, but I was just thinking about this. That I was watching uh New Japan Strong, because we're gonna get to New Japan Strong, and this was the one that happened yesterday. I'm not sure if it's gonna be spoilers or whatever, but spoiler alert right here, right now. Um, Jay White is doing his open challenge on New Japan Strong. He's doing the US of J tour, and the one wrestler that showed up this week is Jay Lethal. So basically, oh shit. J Rod is gonna be live on at AEW on Wednesday. He's not gonna be like he's gonna attend the show. But that got me super excited. Yeah. So congrats to J Rod for picking up tickets and going to an AEW show. I really wish you having a fun time. Newark with the Prudential Center, they fucking suck. They suck. They have outdated policies, and it was fucking horrible. It was a horrible experience. So all the video that I took to do a little like vlog about it that day, yeah, it's in my folder. It fucking sucks. The only thing that like made it cool was getting to experience Minoru Suzuki's theme and singing along with everybody. And the fans over there go to have a good time. The other good time that I had was just randomly talking to this dude about the place and about beer. And this chick had like chimed in, and she was wondering if she had like skipped us or whatever, and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. I had a very good talk with like a random guy and a random chick. Um but yeah, the Prudential Center, you guys fucking suck. Like, you need to update those fucking outdated policies. Like, we're past 9/11. We're good. 9/11 affected New York City more than New Jersey. New Jersey is still the armpit of New York City. So, yeah, you guys are fine. Like, everyone hates New York City because we're loudmouths and like we talk our truth and everything like that. New Jersey, you guys are fine. Um, yeah. J Ross says he'll be in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Hopefully the fans don't suck. I don't think the fans will suck. But Bridgeport, Connecticut is definitely going to be like it's WWE territory. So expect I can't really say expect the unexpected, but just expect things. And yeah, the one in Arthur Ashe was really good. That's what I heard. And yeah, that one, yeah, I didn't really go to that one. Anyway, so yeah, like I was saying, speaking of AEW and Jay Lethal definitely Jay Lethal showed up to answer Jay White's invitation um, for his open challenge. And I thought it was kind of interesting that they keep sending him AEW guys. They sent him Christopher Daniels, then now they sent him Jay Lethal. And it was a really good match from start to finish. They haven't fought since like Jay White was like a baby, not like a literal baby, but like, super young in the business, when, Ring of Honor was still thriving and stuff. So yeah. The only reason why I bring it up is because I don't necessarily like the fact that AEW wrestlers are still um yo, Switchblade GT. I'll get to Jay White. I'll get to Jay White in a moment, man. I'll get to Jay White. I know you and I are like, right here, we're both Jay White fans. But yeah, I'll get to Jay White in a moment. So yeah, I just think that AEW should stop having like wrestlers take other bookings, because I would like Jay Lethal to be like in, the AEW scene, basically in top contender for like the title and stuff. I don't mind him fighting Jay White. That's cool too. But other than that, it's like, stop messing around with like your black wrestlers. Like, let them do what they got to do. I am happy that both Will Hobbs and like Keith Lee made it to the Face of the Revolution match, which is still a gimmicky match, but at least they're there. So I guess we should really talk about the hot topic, which is Jay White. I'm trying to like, do everything. So Switchblade GT, I did a post live stream yesterday talking about this. Jay Lethal is signed to AEW, but he has the ability to book himself if he wants to like wrestle for another company. So if everything goes okay, he was able to wrestle Jay White on New Japan Strong. He's able to take bookings. Like all of them are able to take bookings if they want to. So yeah, that's what's happening. I'm just saying that I don't think it's necessary or it's good for certain wrestlers to take bookings, especially when they just got there. And then for some reason, I think that Jay Lethal being on Dark doesn't help him either. He came in hot. He challenged Sammy Guevara. He didn't get the championship title, so now he goes back to Dark. Why is that the fucking pattern in AEW? Like, instead of Tony trying to be like, I got this big surprise. Guys, listen to me. I got this big surprise. Can you at least work on, like, your logic behind guys that are, like, they come in hot, they were world champions in other promotions, and then when they come to AEW, they get the fucking booted treatment of challenging for a title, lose, and then end up on fucking Dark and Dark Evolution and Rampage and never see like Dynamite ever fucking again until you kind of remember them and you're like, hey, I remember I had this wrestler. Like, Tony Khan, just get your shit together, man. Like, if you need someone to help you get your shit together, like, hire me. I can help you get your shit together. You don't have to like me or anything like that, because I will probably just straight up. But Marie Shadows is open for business, and you guys can hire me. So yeah, if you want me to get your shit together, that does not mean like getting you coffee and like other stuff like that. But that just means tidying up the roster. Yeah, yeah, that really is the pattern that I just that's the pattern. Lately in my live streams, I've been talking about the patterns of AEW. So another pattern is that I'm gonna say it again, is that Tony Khan, right? So like there's a difference, right, between like myself and then someone like Tony Khan who's like born into money and doesn't really have to like struggle, and then there's someone like me and like the rest of other people who are ordinary have to struggle and eventually get over their obstacles and make the best life for themselves. And so Tony really doesn't have that like world experience that like I would have or someone else would have. So his constant personality trait is to make sure that he pleases people in order for people to like him, in order for people to be like, oh, I feel comfortable with him. So he's having a good time. You're having a good time. And the moment that you show any type of like disdain or any type of like resistance to something, he's gonna lose his shit because he doesn't know how to handle that. He doesn't know how to process that. Like someone like myself or anyone else who's been on the receiving end of like either being poor, being mistreated, or never really had the luxury to really like feel good about something. And also like for someone to please them. He has that personality trait of he always has to please the person. Like he pleases all the fans, all the hardcore fans. And the moment that any criticism comes into that bubble, that's it. He loses his shit. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to recover from that. What he does is that he keeps piling on these surprises, and these surprises are going to keep you happy short term. And then you're going to keep asking for more and more and more. And then when we get to the day that he cannot deliver any more surprises to you, what are you going to do? It's one of those other personality traits that like he has. And that's just because, he was born into money. He never really had like a really 9 to 5 stressful job, like either working at McDonald's or working at Gap or anything that can relate to us. He's more the I got the money, let me shower you with money, let me make it rain and stuff like that. And, let's make you happy, which is all fine. We all want to be happy. We all want to have like a stress free life. We want to be comfortable. But it gets to the point where it becomes too dangerous. And, like I said, the moment that he cannot continue with his surprises, what are the fans going to do? Are the fans going to turn on him because he can't deliver on those surprises? And then everybody is spoiled. And then, people will turn on AEW because they're not going to get what they want. You don't necessarily end up in a very good position when you become everyone's friends, especially in a business where it's like cutthroat and very competition filled. But that doesn't mean that you're gonna knock the other person down just to elevate yourself. Like, the wrestling business should be all about elevating each other. However, if you are the businessman and you own the company, you gotta treat it like a business. You gotta treat it like, this could go under like any day. If you treat it like a friend, we're gonna have these problems. Kenny Omega like had some really eye-opening things to really say when he was on the Wrestling Observer and he was getting interviewed. And when you really read it and analyze it and kind of think back to the 3 years that AEW has been around, you're like, oh shit, this is real. I was once one of those fans that was going to be blindsided by like, this is so new, this is great, they're going to be an alternative. I still think they're an alternative, but the way that the track record has been going, I don't trust it. That's why I really don't trust that Jay White is in AEW, just because of how Tony Khan treats New Japan Pro wrestlers, treats Impact wrestlers. He fucking buried Impact. I don't care what anyone says out there. AEW buried Impact for the longest, and Impact took it like, it was like, all right, we're just gonna take this, and when the storm settles, we're gonna rise from the ashes. And that's what the fuck they're doing, because guess what? We're talking about Impact, we're talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling. We're not even talking about AEW and their stories, because they have no stories. They have micro stories, which is different, but they do not have very impactful, powerful stories where I can sit here and be like, let's break it down. Let me break down why Jay White did what he did. Let me break down why, Tama like retaliated on Twitter the way he did, and why the Young Bucks are getting into it, and the whole entire history and story. Yes, this is long-term storytelling. But it's the thing of, you have to do it right, and timing is everything. And that's what Tony Khan does not understand. He doesn't understand that timing is everything. He thinks that because people are not talking about him and people are not talking about AEW, his baby, that he has to give us what we want. Half of us are so blinded by like, oh my God, we get like these huge stars. Like, it's kind of fucked up that, we got Keith Lee. Someone that could definitely thrive in AEW and, be a big powerhouse and like add, a lot to the plate. But to have Keith Lee and Jay White show up in the same day, on the same show, doing two different things, the name of Jay White kind of just pushed Keith Lee to the side. I'm going to say it. And that's very unfortunate, because, if Keith Lee like signed an actual AEW deal, rather than like, I'm guessing, Jay has like, he'll appear on AEW for these dates while he does New Japan Pro Wrestling, New Japan Strong, and like anything else. Which, by the way, like, Tony could have got everybody in trouble. Like, this guy does not think through his legal shit, because he only has one person working legal, and like, you're not supposed to have just one person working legal. If you guys don't know, I did like a whole entire podcast episode explaining about like the red flags that Tony Khan has, and that's just based off my knowledge of like, you're not supposed to do certain things like in the business and shit like that. Like it could have like legal shit going about it and whatnot. But yeah, like doing something like that where like Keith Lee comes in, he's supposed to be like the biggest name, the biggest surprise, and then you have Jay White, and because we know Jay White and we're like interested with Jay White, the Bullet Club, with Tama, with the Young Bucks, the Good Brothers, we're like, oh shit, our attention is here, and it's not to the person who really signed an AEW contract and is an AEW star. You know, you get that? It's just those little things, you know, and sometimes the AEW fans on Twitter can get fucking annoying because it's like, you guys want all this cool shit. I want cool shit too, but I want logical stuff too in my wrestling, man. Like, you know, you can't just throw shit at the wall and see if it sticks. Um, but yeah, let me just go back up here and read uh, some stuff. But first of all, I do have you know, my Twitter open just in case if like, you know, Tama wants to start dropping some stuff over you know, over on Twitter like he was doing, but the real chat is over on Twitch. So yeah, Switchblade GT said, I won't be surprised if I see Keith Lee on Dark or Evolution. True, right? Like, you know, true. J Rod tells me that's actually true. Switchblade is all like, these wrestling fans would definitely turn on him. I'm waiting for that day. That's facts. But it was cool to see them working together. Yeah, it definitely really was. Like, the whole AEW and Impact partnership was really good and stuff like that. I was really enjoying the childish promos until I realized, yeah, it was all fucking bashing. Like, you don't bury your competition in a way like that. Like, you know, there's other ways to bury them, but not to do it like that. And you know what? As much as I love Tony Schiavone and he was, you know, one of the voices of like my childhood watching wrestling and stuff like that, like he should know better and he should be telling Tony Khan like, yo, this, I don't think this is gonna work. This shouldn't like work like that. Switchblade also said, I personally wanted Keith Lee to be signed to New Japan Pro Wrestling. He will benefit more there. Uh, I don't know, man. Keith Lee would have to get with the program of like how to work as a New Japan wrestler. He may put in the work, he may do it, but I don't know. Um, I don't see. I mean, he can have like a match to see how like it works out, but if he was really gonna be signing with like New Japan Strong, you know, I don't know how that would go. I don't think New Japan and him will be a good fit. Just because there's a lot of hard hitting action, a lot of strikes, a lot of kicks, and you know, I just don't know. The G1 climax, I don't think he's ready for a G1 climax. I don't think he can handle that schedule. But um, you know, the New Japan Cup starts March 2nd and it's gonna have 48 competitors. So you never know. He might enter into the New Japan Cup, and if he can survive that tournament, then I will be like, yes, he could survive the G1. Right now, I do not think that if we put Keith Lee in the G1, that he's not going to survive it. That G1 like takes a mental toll on people, and it's not for everyone. Point in case is I think Hangman, right? Hangman, I think Hangman did a G1. Let me look that up. And you know, I don't mean to get on Hangman all the time in my like live streams or my podcast episodes. If you guys think that I am, I'm really not. It's just that there are guys who put in the work and guys who really want to make their character shine and get the fact that wrestling is entertainment no matter what. Yes, there is an like athleticism to it. There's a lot of factors into it, but at the end of the day, its core, it is entertainment, and like I always say, it is the most purest form of theatrical theater, if that makes sense. Because I was like, I'm using theatrical, you know, theater. Okay, hope it makes sense. Um, Did he go to the G1? Yes, he did. He did go to the G1. Um, but yeah, not every person is made for that. Yeah. Yeah, they announced it well, today really that they are going to be having 48 competitors for the New Japan Cup this year. So we're going to get we're going to get more details in the press conference. Uh I don't want to say today. Let me hold on. I think it's all right. So yeah. So it will be today for Japan that we'll get the press conference. But for us, obviously, it'll be tomorrow. Because over there it is already February 21st. It's already like 8 in the morning. So yeah, we're gonna get that press conference. The next time around. I do not know. I mean, the only person that I know that's probably gonna be in it is Chase. Anyone else, I don't know who else is gonna be in it, but like I know that Chase is like a definite like competitor in it. So yeah. So yeah. Other than that, let's see. Um Running back uh hey, I mean, Will Ospreay is probably gonna be in it. Will Ospreay is definitely going to be in it. Um, I cannot confirm or deny that, but like the fan in me wants him in it. United Empire is definitely going to be in it. The Great Okan has definitely been wrestling back to back to back to back against people. Jeff Cobb might even be in it. Hinare is gonna probably be in it. If Hinare is not in it, I'm gonna be upset. And New Japan Wrestling and New Japan will know. Yeah, Jay's not gonna. Yeah, he's not gonna be there. Jay is too busy dealing with the drama he fucking created. Which I have some more theories on it because I was having theories last night. So let's see who else we can think of. We know that like Taichi and like Zack Sabre Jr. are gonna be in it. I don't think Yano or Suzuki are gonna be in it because they're too busy battling for the freaking King of Pro Wrestling trophy, which is fucking stupid. But that's just me. I just think it's stupid. Uh, Wait, he can't. He's supposed to be in. Yeah, yeah. He's supposed to be in Tampa. Yep, he's supposed to be in Tampa. But New Japan Cup doesn't start until March 2nd, and Japan just said that foreigners are allowed to go into the country now. So when they're flying over, they're allowed to enter the country. But any new type of tourists are not allowed to go to Japan right now. Excuse me. So anyone who wants to any wrestler who wants to work over there in Japan are able to go to Japan March 1st. But they might have to go early because of the COVID protocols, which they kind of lowered the amount of stay you gotta do in the government hotels, which is basically if you have like all three shots, you are only allowed to stay in the hotel room for like 3 days just to make sure that like when you're coming from wherever you are in the world to over there that you should be good. Yes, Hinari definitely deserves the spotlight. This dude knows that I will advocate for him like no matter what. So he knows that I want him to have the spotlight. And the KOPW is stupid. So, you know what? Let's start talking about, Jay White doing Jay White things. And I had specifically told Tama that once. I told Tama that Jay White does Jay White things. What does that mean? It basically means that Jay White is always going to be in it for himself. He's always going to go into business for himself. There's never a time where like he was good with a team because every single thing that he ever did, he always backstabbed somebody. He went to Chaos for a little bit. He didn't like, the treatment that he was getting in Chaos. This is when he comes back from Excursion, right? He comes back from Excursion. He's known as Switchblade Jay White. He grew up from being a knife pervert, according to Trent. So yo, like I just know that if I get to be on Tama's island, it's gonna be fucking awkward, okay? Like I both love Jay and Tama, but if I have to pick a side, right? Sometimes they say it's better to trust the devil you know rather than the devil you don't know. As much as Jay gives off that bad boy freaking personality that will one day be the death of me, just because that's like one of my preferences, if you guys want to know that, I would usually side with someone like Jay White just because of that bad boy personality, and I will probably give into it. But I rather side with the devil I know. The devil that has, welcomed me with open arms. The one that definitely is not an ass to me, and I'm not saying that Jay was ever an ass to me. But like I've met, some asshole guys in wrestling and shit like that. But I know that if Tama ever needed like his Tama Island crew, that we'll have his back. We'll be there like, soldiers, and I've always said this to myself that like the way that Tama inspires people, even though like he talks a lot of shit, but the way that he does is because of all that passion and truth that he has, just like written on his sleeve. And when he talks, everyone listens. So, I'd rather go with somebody that I know will have my back. Tama and Loa and Hikuleo would definitely have my back. Jay would, in story, Jay in story and kayfabe, because you guys got to remember, like, I love all this shit in kayfabe. So, Jay, I would have to have eyes in the back of my head, because I don't know when my help or my presence will expire, because Jay tends to move on to the next thing. If he's not enjoying something, he moves on to the next thing. If he's not getting any type of fulfillment for what he's doing, he's gonna go to the next thing to get that kind of fulfillment. And that's what makes him such a fantastic champion. That's what's gonna make him, a fantastic storyteller. And I was thinking about this recently that, he has said it in like other interviews that Randy Orton was like the guy that got him into wrestling and stuff. And if you haven't noticed, Jay White is essentially like, the Randy Orton of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Just because of how he is portrayed, the way he thinks. He just does it on a very higher level than Randy Orton. So like Randy Orton is the blueprint, and Jay White is like, oh, I could do it way better. And he does. And, that's why it's kind of hard for me to like pick a side. And I even said that I don't want this to happen again, because the last time we had a civil war, it was between Kenny and Cody. Now, granted, I don't really like Cody like that, so it was easy. I picked Kenny and the Young Bucks. But either way, I did not want to see like family implode. And I really do consider Bullet Club to be family, because of their ideology is something that I connect with as a fan, because, first of all, I am a female who loves professional wrestling, and growing up, I was basically like the black sheep of the family, because, no one else liked professional wrestling like me. My dad got me into professional wrestling, and it just stuck. So, I'm here talking to you about professional wrestling and like breaking it down like no other, and, accomplished my dreams of going to WWE, and was the only person in my family to be like, I'm doing this, this, and this, accomplish all of that, because the rest of my family are like bums. Not like literal bums, but like they didn't accomplish, what they wanted to do. Me, I'm the only one that accomplished what I wanted to do. So Bullet Club just sort of has that like family that kind of brings together the outcasts, the ones that don't fit into society, the ones that, have like a logical common sense thinking other than like following the fucking sheep out there and the echo chambers, and would rather like do the research on their own, come up with their own conclusions, and making sure that like, this is what it is. This is all the research I did. This is all facts. And, not really rely too much on emotion like how we're seeing it now. So, there's a reason why I gravitate towards, Bullet Club. And it's because they're also like strong in like leadership, even though the whole entire Bullet Club has like fucking alpha males and they can't seem to get their shit together sometimes. But family does fight, and then family does reconcile, and then family backstabs everybody. It's the perfect hallmark novella story in professional wrestling, if you ask me. But yeah, that's why I feel so strongly about, Bullet Club, and not wanting Bullet Club to ever end or dissolve. Even though like I'll still support the guys in Bullet Club, but it's still the idea of Bullet Club is fucking family. And I remember like the first time like Tama welcomed me into like the Tama Island crew, that shit is like the best feeling ever. Because there was like no judgment, no nothing. It was just like, hey, what's up, Marie? Even though he thought that I was a dude. Good times, man. Good times. That's why, like, if battle lines need to be drawn, right? And for people in the comments, if you guys like think I'm stupid or like going crazy or, too much invested into this, it's okay. It's totally okay. I'm having so much fun with this, okay? I'm not angry at anybody for what happened in Bullet Club, but I'm just having way too much fun. You can tell by this cheesy ass smile that this means everything to me. Like wrestling in general means everything to me. But yeah, if battle lines need to be drawn, I am most likely going to be siding with Tama and Loa and Hikuleo, because I think that and Haku, because I think that we are probably going to get the firing squad. I do think that something else is happening in Bullet Club, and Jay is probably going to get a new member on his side. Not really a new member, because he's still a member of Bullet Club. And if you paid close attention to New Japan Pro Wrestling, New Japan Golden Final, and El Phantasmo has been having such a inner character crisis over the past couple of weeks, ever since being exposed. And when I say exposed, it's because Robbie Eagle and Taguchi finally managed to take off El Phantasmo's boot, right? So for the longest, El Phantasmo's running story and his running gimmick, if I should say, he has a metal boot. He has a metal plate in his boot. He doesn't have a metal boot. He has a metal plate in his boot. And he would always super kick everybody, and then it's called the sudden death, and then that's it. 1, 2, 3. El Phantasmo will get the victory. And so his story will be that, in Canada, he would just always super kick maple trees in order to get like a really strong heel. Sure, could be believable from time to time. So the day that they exposed the fact that there is a metal plate in his boot, him and Taiji, hey, Sleeping Collectibles, what's up? Thank you for joining me. Yes, the plate in his boot was clever. I gotta give it to him. Clever. I gotta give him all the props. So, when they found it, I think Marty, the official, was there. Yeah, because it's Marty. Because Marty, like, man, that dude, that referee, man. So he ejected El Phantasmo and Taiji out of that, what was it, like that triple threat tag team match and stuff like that. So that's what happened. Fast forward to like, weeks, El Phantasmo has been doubting himself and the super kick. And that has made Taiji very frustrated, especially when their finisher is a combination, it's a tag team move, and he can't do it. So Taiji has to like finish off the match, or they might lose or something like that. So this time, the news of, Bullet Club breaking down at No Surrender and Jay White turning on Tama hit Japan very fast. Japan wrote up their article, so basically, it was already there. And, El Phantasmo tells something to Kevin Kelly. I'm not sure if anyone picked this up. But, Kevin is in shock. Everyone is in shock. El Phantasmo says to Kevin Kelly that, yeah, you should see backstage is chaotic. I don't know what's going on. And Kevin is like, hey, can you give us an update? Like, what do you know? Like, like what a journalist would do, ask these questions. El Phantasmo is all like, I don't know what happened, but, Jay did text me. And then Kevin follows it up with, what did he text you? And El Phantasmo did not want to say. And then he had his tag team match. And I'm like, El Phantasmo knows something. So if Tama wants to start looking for answers, you got to go to El Phantasmo and ask him what Jay has said. It may not be nothing, or it may be something for this whole entire story. And when I heard that, I was like, this story is going to be really, really good. And it's going to be like the best Civil War story in Bullet Club, because the other one with Kenny and Cody, that was fucking stupid. That was fucking stupid. But yeah, he did say that he talked to Jay today, which is interesting. Which brings me to another point. And yeah, to Switchblade's GT's point, I also agree with him too that this is having me think that Jay is going to get to the Elite. I had posed this on Twitter. If you guys are not following me on Twitter, @Marine_Shadows, you can follow me there. I talk to everyone and anyone about wrestling. I really don't care. Just don't be a douchebag. That's all. I had said and tweeted out that, what did I say about that? Oh yeah. Wait, did I say, I said something along the lines of like, maybe this is a way for Switchblade to, for Switchblade to destroy the Elite from the inside out. And then like maybe like come back to Bullet Club. But when you cross Tama, there is no coming back. It's either, you decide to blood yourself in with Tama and the rest of them, or you just don't do it and you're like a hang around. Like, you really got to think about it in terms of how would you run the South Side? And by the way, I might get into like some GTA role-playing like analogies, because I watch a lot of GTA role-playing as well. So, you got to think of it like that. Like, it's a family and shit like that. It's always been fuck the Elite. Yeah. It definitely has. Yeah, there's definitely no coming back when you screw over Tama. The other thing too is that, I think, based on the interviews that Jay White has been having over the past couple of days leading up to No Surrender, right? So, hey, Sleepy Collectibles, thank you for subscribing over on the YouTube side. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for being here and sharing your opinion too. But I really do think that the interviews that Jay White does are very telling. I personally think that you don't, like, if I ever interview Jay White on like the Square Circle podcast, just know it. I'm not sure if it's going to be done in one take. But let me not get ahead of myself. I just know that whenever he does interviews, he sort of tells you what you want to hear versus what his character would say. Even though like it's technically like him in a way. But what his character would say, what he would think the fans would take at his word, because all of us here sort of like sit at the edge of our seats listening to what he has to say because he's one of the best to do it. So here's what I think. I'm sorry. My nose is starting to get stuffy. This shit happens like all the fucking time. During one of the interviews, he was saying how he wants to make Bullet Club in like a really huge family where he is uniting former Bullet Club members across the brands. So you have the Elite over in AEW who were part of Bullet Club. You have Bullet Club hanging out in Impact, New Japan Strong. So he just wants to like unite everybody. And then he goes and says that so Jay White never really had to deal with the things that Tama had to deal with the Young Bucks and Kenny, and what Tama had to deal with the Good Brothers, right? So Jay never experienced any of that. And because Jay never experienced any of that, he doesn't see a reason why there should still be burned bridges. He feels that, you know, maybe with all this time that maybe there should be like some forgiveness or whatever, but like the things that Tama experienced, Jay hasn't experienced it. So that's why he could be friendly. And that's why he can, you know, work with, you know, the Elite, Adam Cole, the Good Brothers, because he doesn't have that same, I'm looking for the fucking word for this. I don't want to use the word animosity, but he doesn't have that same feeling that Tama has towards these guys. As you can see, Jay White does things in a business sense where he's just working with you. If he has to work with you, that's all it is. It's a working relationship. It's not personal. There we go. I can say that. It's not personal with Jay. It's personal with Tama in regards to the Elite. Probably Adam Cole. Probably. And then like the Good Brothers. But all of that is not personal to Jay. So that's why Jay can do whatever he wants to do and make these business deals for himself, because he doesn't see the reason that Tama would want him to do it. It's one of those things of like, Jay came in late to Bullet Club, and he doesn't want to carry the baggage of the past mistakes of the others. So, you know, that's his mindset. So in I can't say every interview, but there was one particular interview where he just basically says that, you know, he has no issues with the Young Bucks and Adam Cole. That's why he's working with them. However, when it came to talking about the Good Brothers, he really said that the Good Brothers is specifically like Tama's thing. Tama's going to take care of it. Like, Jay White wasn't going to like insert his nose into that. That's Tama's thing to take care of that. And then all of a sudden, as we saw in No Surrender, you know, Chris Bay coming out, that was the first red flag of like, what is Bay doing here? Why is Bay distracting the referee? And then like Loa getting chokeslam, and then that's it. And then Jay comes in and does that. And then just sits with this look on his face of like, it almost looked like as if like Tama pushed him to do that. Like Tama brought him to that point in time to do this Blade Runner. And then to be over the body of Tama and Too Sweet Everybody. Which, by the way, a lot of people on Twitter are like, Jay kicked out Tama. No. Jay did not kick out Tama. You know, Switchblade GC says, before in a backstage comments, Jay said that this is real Bullet Club and this isn't cheap ripoff. Yeah, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know if any of that stuff in the past, because I remember that because I podcasted about that exact same comment that you put here, GT. I don't know if any of that is getting factored into this whole story. That's why, like, I have more questions than answers, and, you know, Tama's a little upset and he's heated, so it's like, you know, maybe should I send him like cat videos? Like, I don't know. Or dog videos? I don't know if he's a cat or dog person. But like, I don't know if any of that stuff from back in 2020, that any of that is going to get factored in. If not 2020, 2021. But yeah, I podcasted all about that. But my thinking is that, uh, oh yeah, first of all, Jay did not kick out Tama. God is probably going to bring back Firing Squad, and it's still going to be under the banner of Bullet Club. What the stipulation, because it really wasn't a stipulation, was that the Good Brothers kept saying that if they beat God, that they kill Bullet Club. That does not mean that they're taking the mantle of Bullet Club. That means that they're like doing away with Tama and Loa and separating from them, and the Good Brothers will continue to be the Good Brothers. The Elite will still be the Elite, and then JY will still probably carry Bullet Club. Like, I don't know what this I don't know what this like really means. I don't know if he's still gonna uphold Bullet Club and think that, you know, he is Bullet Club. He represents Bullet Club because of how his work ethic is, or like how many people like he took out, or like how many championships he won. Like, I don't know the criteria. But yeah, GT, there's a lot of people I've been seeing on the timeline saying that Jay kicked out Tama, and it's like, no, that's not how it happened. Jay just removed himself from being with Tama and Loa and the rest of them. He just removed himself because he saw it. He either saw it early in the signs where this is probably not going to work out, or he was getting too bored and nothing was really happening with the group as it is. Tama and Loa are turning babyface, as we saw during the G1. They weren't doing Bullet Club tactics. What makes Bullet Club great is that they do Bullet Club tactics, even though they cheat a lot and we're like, stop the cheating. But in order to be Bullet Club, in order to defend Bullet Club and stuff like that, like, you know, they do Bullet Club tactics, which I talked about, you know, what that really means. But yeah, people really think that Jay kicked out Tama by doing the Blade Runner. No, Jay just double-crossed Tama and got himself out of Bullet Club before Tama was like, hey, I know you've been doing a good job, you know, doing this, being the forerunner and shit like that, you know, but it's time for you to go. So instead of that, he left on his own. However, I do believe that the Good Brothers whispered into Jay's ear somehow and promised him something that, like, Tama probably could not promise him, right? Maybe that could be like a better position. Maybe at AEW, because, you know, after this, like, the Good Brothers are going to go to AEW and have like a little, excuse me, a little skit or something like that. Like, you know, the Good Brothers are going back there. Jay is going to show up there, or like, you know, the Good Brothers are going to go to Japan. When I say Japan, I mean like New Japan Strong, or something like that. But I think that something happened where the Good Brothers offered Jay something that Tama probably could not promise him. And Jay, being an opportunist that he is, went and basically like decided to go that route. And why not take Chris Bay? Because Chris Bay has been hungry, and Chris Bay has been waiting for opportunities. And sometimes if you wait, opportunities pass you by. Sure, you know, for someone like me and for someone like GT, will probably say like, you know, maybe that wasn't the best option because now he's hanging around the wrong crowd. But as a wrestler, you got to do what's best for you. The same way as a human being, you got to do what's best for you. If you know that this is going to alienate a lot of people, go and fucking do it, because it's your life and you live that one life. You don't get a second chance sometimes. And if this can be his big break, then why not? I am all for you know, Chris Bay doing what Chris Bay does. Oh wait, did I just coined something else. Chris Bay does Chris Bay things. I think you gotta have like a cool ass name in order to like have that. Let's see. Tama Tonga does Tama Tonga things. No, that just sounds like I'm chanting. Like, I'm trying to summon Tama. Tama Tonga does Tama Tonga things. No. But I totally created Chris Bay does Chris Bay things. Oh my god. Oh, this is gonna be great. Um JY does JY things. Chris Bay does Chris Bay things. I think that that was a perfect pick for Bullet Club now, like 100%. Like, I was always on board for Chris Bay coming through and being part of Bullet Club or whatever it is, and now he's under um Jay White's wing. So like, yeah, that's super cool. I'm proud that I made up that thing of Chris Bay does Chris Bay things. So now if Chris Bay does Chris Bay things, I'm gonna probably fucking say it. Which is gonna be different for him because if you guys were here a little bit before, I was saying that Jay White does Jay White things, meaning that he goes into business for himself sometimes. That Jay White is all about himself and protecting like his image, his identity, and doing the things that he wants to do when he wants to do it. And if he doesn't find fulfillment in one, he goes on to the next and does that. And he picks the right times for when he does it. This one was a complete slow burn of turning on Tama and getting out while he can because that's what he did. He got out while he can. So yeah, this is gonna be great. Chris Bay does Chris Bay things. Ah, awesome. Yeah, I know. I know it took you a while to accept them into Bullet Club. But Chris Bay is the ultimate finesser, so it works out. It really works out. I'm proud of myself, guys. I really am. But yeah, those are my theories. I also think that once we get down to the bottom of whatever El Phantasmo and Jay White talked about. El Phantasmo is gonna be probably breaking up with Taiji and then like going over to the States and like being with Jay White and like the rest of the elite. Chris in the elite, they're gonna have the most childish um BTE segments ever, and I'm just like, I don't know if I'm there for it because I stopped watching BTE because it was so childish that I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Um, I just don't like it whenever the elite is like trying to like throw the negative stuff back into the fans' faces as if like we were the ones that helped them get to this fucking point. I totally get it that people leave negative comments and you know just go at them at a really stupid way, but you don't have to remind us every single time. And speaking of the Young Bucks, right? They decided to put up a new bio where it says that they never really liked Tama, to be honest. And I don't know. Hold on, let me go grab that picture so that way it could be here in the video for it. Why is this? Oh, oops. Uh, hey, Israel, what's up? BT just changed. It's like 2 minutes of the Bucks and 20 minutes of the Dork Order and other people. And GC says they just ask you to get the firing squad again. They are. It's like they don't like learn. Like, I'm all for uh you know, I'm all for like rehashing or bringing up. Actually, no, I'm not rehashing stuff. I'm all for bringing up loose ends that never got tied. But shit, it's like you guys don't fucking learn. Um, Young Bucks must have, yeah, they must have not learned back in San Francisco. That's what I'm saying. But okay, for Israel, thank you for letting me know that the uh, you know, BTE has changed, but I'm not that's not gonna make me watch. And yes, the return of King Haku, like I remember somebody on Twitter, I don't remember who it was, but they said that Haku can definitely like destroy all of them. You know. So here is the tweet. I hope you guys can like see it. Um this here is like, I really want to kick the Young Bucks. I really do. I have grown so tired of them because they basically rehashed everything from the 2000s when they were at the height and peak of their career in Ring of Honor and just up their thing like multiple, up their annoyance by like tenfold. And I really just can't stand it. And it's like, I would have loved if they would have started off their brand new career at AEW as technical wrestlers. Because for anyone that has ever listened to my podcast show, or if you're new, welcome if you're new. I'm Marie Shadows again, host and creator of the Square Circle Podcast. I always say that I love the technical side more than I love the flips. However, if you can sort of combine both of them together, that would be great. But I'm more technical than anything. Yes, I remember them as Generation Me too back in TNA. And I remember seeing them come out of Ring of Honor at one point as Generation Me. So yes, I followed their career. I know what they're about. But half the time it's just like, you guys could have came up with something different. You guys could have put on a different spin. So that way you as the Young Bucks can evolve rather than keep doing the same spot at the same spot at the same spot at the same spot. And then you wonder why, like, you might have to take off time in such an early career of everything. But yeah, this tweet here, GT says, can't lie, I still love the Young Bucks. I love them too, but like, shit, do you guys have to be super annoying? Do they? Don't get it. Oh yeah, and by the way, for anyone that's not following me on Twitter, go ahead and do that at Marie_Shadows, just because I put up a question up there and like nobody has answered it because that's what the AEW faithful does. They don't like to answer questions from someone who questions them, like me. I basically said, can you tell me an AEW storyline? Because I could not tell the fans earlier in this podcast episode, what storyline that they're fucking doing. So if anyone out there wants to drop in chat about, what storyline they can tell me about in AEW, that would be great. Just because. Anyway, while I continue to talk about more stuff, right? Because I already gave you all of my ideas. Oh yeah. More stuff from Tama. Because Tama was on a rampage. Like last night and like this morning. So even Rocky is getting into it, and I'm here like, Rocky, you should know better. Like, you should know not to antagonize Tama. Rocky thinks that, it's the right thing to do because Bullet Club has been such a thorn in his side. Let me take off this, I guess the Elite versus... Yeah, I mean, but like current stories in AEW that I can go in depth and like break it down the same way that I'm here talking about, the whole Jay White situation and trying to be like, oh, maybe it could have been this, it could have been that. The Elite versus the Inner Circle, cool, I get that. That's great. Back in the day when I was watching, I mean, I watch AEW from time to time, but it's like on Twitter and stuff. But when we were doing the story of Hangman and Kenny, that I was able to break down for you guys, and I have a YouTube video and a podcast episode me breaking it down, going in depth into the history of Hangman Adam Page and the history of Kenny Omega and like why it was the way that it was. So I was able to do it. I just can't do it currently. Oh, GT says he hasn't been keeping up with them lately. And yeah, that's what I mean. Like, we had story in the beginning. Now we have micro stories. That's what I was saying. We have micro stories in AEW, and you can't rely on micro stories alone because of that. Just so you guys know, John Moxley is a hit or miss for me when it comes to his storytelling ability and his wrestling ability. Like, there's only like a not even a handful of matches where I could be like, oh, okay, that was good. I can explain it. But yeah, John Moxley is just like a hit or miss for me. You know, that's all it is. All right, so I'm gonna take out this Young Bucks thing. Just because I really don't want it there. Oh yeah, and by the way, if oh, I'm gonna get to New Japan Strong eventually in this podcast thing, but like the Jay White and Bullet Club thing is just so much for me to break down for you guys because I love this shit. Like, I really do. And if you enjoy hearing me talk, the easiest way to support me, I know a lot of people throw out there like a PayPal to directly support me and stuff like that. I would too, but there's an easier way. There is a website called Coffee, which you guys could probably think of it as like, buy me a coffee. Or if I didn't want to use the word coffee, you can buy me a hug. That's what I have it. I think that hugs are a little bit more encouraging and better. So think of this page like a Patreon, except that coffee is a lot more creative for my creative mind. So for everyone that's here, if you enjoy what I've been saying for the past hour and like 37 minutes about professional wrestling and you understand my passion for it, click that link. And all you have to do, if you want to give a one-time donation of like $3, which would be a $3 hug for me. And then if you want to get my wrestling bingo cards that I made, head over to the shop, get wrestling bingo cards. And if you need me to do any type of work that you want me to do, like writing or editing something that you wrote, go and do that. I'm only plugging it in now because we do have a good amount of people, and like I love everyone that's here. I love everyone that's interacting with me, and I wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. So yeah, and then yeah. So if you guys want to help me out that way, you can, and you are supporting me directly. The coffee website does not take a fee. You could just do a one-time donation if you think that my analytic skills for professional wrestling is really deserving of you giving me a hug. That's all. So yeah. But yeah, so GT is totally right. With that AEW needs more long-term storytelling. They really do. Something that catches people, again, I have a writing degree. AEW could always hit me up, but they're not gonna do that. Like I said, I'll eventually get to New Japan Strong and shit like that. Yeah. GT says Moxley is soft right now. Ever since his theme has changed, he kind of fell off. I guess I have no comment on John Moxley, but yeah, it's the idea of micro stories and shit like that. I think I covered everything for JY. Oh no, more. Okay. So yeah, talking about Rocky. Rocky decided to come at Tama being like for life, right? That fucking shit. And it's like, bro, I know that you're just messing around and shit like that, but when you're actually part of something that somebody knows your name, it hits different than like being in chaos and nobody knowing like your name. So yeah, I don't know why Rocky wants to poke the bear that is Tama Tonga. And then, Tama telling Jay that he's a dead man, which I thought was pretty funny. I was just like, oh man, here we go, right? And then, Tama telling the Young Bucks, it's cause sometimes, everybody wants to know your name. Ravage had to make an appearance. That was Ravage Dragon. If you guys want, you can go follow him too. Because we do Ravage Lands together, which is basically a gaming family thing. Me and him. Well, I really can't say family. Well, it used to be like a family thing. Um, yeah, Ravage is my boo. He wanted to come and make a fucking cameo when he knows that he probably shouldn't. But yeah, uh, I would get his fucking Twitch account up here so I could just put it there so that way he could be like, yeah, you know, blah blah blah. He's also streaming too, by the way. Uh, Give me a second. We should technically hold on. This is gonna play. Uh, Not to take people away from me talking about wrestling, but because he decided to fucking make an appearance, let me just be the good girlfriend and like put his stuff out there. Okay? Me and him talk about wrestling 24/7. And you know, I don't know if I ever want him to be on the show, but he just decided to make a fucking cameo appearance. But yeah, if you guys want to go follow him and basically say what's up, you know, you guys could go do that shit too. Maybe we'll raid him. But yeah. So yeah. Tama telling the Young Bucks to basically suck his dick. Uh After putting that comment of they never liked Tama, to be honest. And it's like, what is there not to like about Tama? Is it because like he's a good guy? Yeah, he's playing South Park. We play well, sometimes but he plays a lot of variety games. He doesn't really stick to like one. But yeah, he's playing South Park right now. For anyone that's listening to this on audio, Ravage Dragon decided to do a cameo, and you know, I put his Twitch channel in the chat, so you know, don't worry and don't be like, who the fuck am I talking about? But yeah, um, but yeah, Tama keeps it real, and that's what I like about Tama. I rather have Tama talk to me with 100% honesty, even if I don't want to hear it, because you know, us as human beings. I can't talk right now because I've been doing this for like an hour and 43 minutes. Live stream. You know, I rather have Tama keep things 100% with me than lie to me or twist the truth a little bit, but I will give leeway to if someone has to twist the truth with me just to protect me, there will be a leeway. But if it's just a straight up lie, then yeah, we got problems. But if you're gonna be completely 100% honest with me, then I rather have that than like nothing at all. But yeah, Tama definitely keeps it 100% real, and sometimes people just don't like that. Or sometimes people just don't want to see it his way if it makes sense and stuff. Other than that, like Tama can, if he needs to, you know, be like an alpha male to take charge and control and stuff. But there's a lot of like telling in this whole entire Bullet Club drama that we're seeing, and we're gonna see more of it. Tama didn't really tweet much today, or I think he did. I just know that when you guys tune in for Thomas Island on Tuesday at 6:30 over on his Twitch. Oh yeah, he did tweet out the "can't trust nobody" type of thing, which is true. And that's something big in like Tongan and like Polynesian culture, and like in other cultures too and stuff like that. The trusting thing is very big. But yeah, you know, when you guys tune in to Tama's Island this Tuesday, um, expect Tama to be like really upset. I need answers. We all need answers. And yes, I'm gonna end the Bullet Club talk here with uh is Bullet Club really fine? I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I don't really know. Um, all right, let's move on to another topic. See, even Switchblade GT in the chat is saying, I need some damn answers. I need answers too, GT and I are like the closest to the source. But again, I want to put this disclaimer out there just in case if like any wrestlers come by and they like just want to watch one of my streams. I never claim to be a wrestling dirt sheet writer. I never claimed to be a journalist per se, the way that you see how the wrestling media is portrayed as being so cutthroat and just gatekeeping. If I am your friend and you know that I have a podcast, I will never put your information out there, as in like, if you give me a scoop, let's say, right? If you give me a scoop, I will not put it out there as like, oh my god, I got a scoop, guys. Like, come watch my show. Give me donations, give me this, or I won't tell you, or whatever. Right? Like, I'm not for that. I'm all for kayfabe, and I'm all for kayfabe, and I am all for trying to figure this out like a detective. I am no way, shape, or form trying to be like damaging any type of story because I have a scoop and I put it out there, and like I'm not about that. Um, I am more about telling the story as it is, and just going with it, and not necessarily like um wanting to spoil it for people because, to be honest, I did not really see the swerve coming. I did not see the fact that Jay was going to side with the Good Brothers to take himself out of the Bullet Club. I didn't see that coming. Jay looked like he was on the path of, going through the motions, doing all this work, and that was it. And yeah, so if any wrestler out there that's like friends with me, know that I have a podcast and know that like I go on other people's podcasts and that I write about professional wrestling, if I am given a scoop, unless I am given permission to say something about that scoop, that's the only time that I will drop that scoop. I have integrity and I have passion for this business, and I do not need to step over anyone else who just does it willy nilly just because I want the attention and I want the donations and I want everything else. Sure, I want all of that. I want all that love from you guys. But I'm not going to be part of the copy and paste machine that's on Twitter, and you guys give, $5 for copy and paste when, we could be enjoying the story. We could be enjoying the breakdowns. We could be enjoying the speculation of like, oh, this and that. And somebody in that group talk could have a really good idea. And you're like, oh shit, I didn't think about that. Thanks for reminding me. And that makes sense as to why this person went to go do it. So there's a reason why someone like me who makes original content, whenever I say on Twitter that, it's sad that sometimes ordinary casual fans won't support an original content creator because they don't copy and paste wrestling news and rumors and be like, hey, I got this from so and so, still pay me behind a paywall because I got it from so and so. That's like back in the day, in high school, where somebody wanted to copy off of your homework and you let them do it. And they don't necessarily change anything about it. They might change something about it, but they're not really going to change anything about it. And then charge you for that person's homework that they just copied and paste. I'm very passionate about the way that I present my ideas. I'm very passionate about the way that I break down professional wrestling like no other. Um, that's why, like, I have a small circle, and I am grateful for everyone and anyone that has ever had me on their show, everyone and anyone that has like ever interacted with me, and I will always be that sweetheart until, like, you push me or you break one of my boundaries, and stuff like that. And you will know when you fuck up if, like, you become friends with me. You will know. It's the same way of, like, being friends with Tama, or just, seeing how Tama works as a human being. Tama's cool up to a certain point. The moment that you decide to cross that line is the moment that you fucked up. And Jay White fucked up. So, yeah. That is my whole stance on when it comes to wrestling journalism, wrestling media, and, for wrestlers, if they ever want to, like, collaborate with me and stuff like that, their scoops are not going to be on, the first thing on my podcast, because I don't really do that. You guys are human first. You guys are people first. And if it needs to be where I'm an asset to the storyline, fuck yeah, I'll do that shit. I was already being assets to storylines on the indies. Even though it would have been cool, but, again, I'm thought of as a fucking fan because I have this. No, my accolades, like, speak for themselves. I went to WWE. Nobody can definitely, like, take that from me. Basically, after that, I did the indies. I helped out with Evolve for, like, their last show before WWE took them away from us. I help out at other indie promotions when I could have. So I have, like, knowledge and backstage knowledge, and I'm always there and I'm always available to do what I love to do. But this isn't really a conversation about me, but I get passionate about it, and I don't ever want wrestlers to group me into the wrestling media and how cutthroat and bad they, like, treat each other. Even though, like, they all when they get together, you could definitely see that they have to be fake with each other. You're gonna get 100% me. You're gonna get 100% real Marie Shadows, where there is no gimmicks. You come here to be yourself. I project to be myself, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's what I do. Other than that, we may have to, like, take a break, because it's kind of unfair that I've been sitting here for a while. You guys been sitting here for a while, hearing me talk. Switchblade GT, if you want to know, Super J-Cast, like, are one of the people that I keep seeing that they say that Jay White kicked out GOD from Bullet Club. And it's not, I don't even think that's right. Like, that's not how it happened. I know for damn sure when you guys tune into Thomas Island on Tuesday, that's probably the first thing that Tom is going to say, that, like, Jay did not kick us out. You can't kick out somebody that created the club. Like, I don't know. But let's take a little mini break. We'll come back. We'll talk about New Japan Golden, New Japan Strong, more No Surrender, minus the Bullet Club drama if I cannot reference it. AEW's already taken care of. And maybe some, like, Elimination Chamber. And then, like, if you guys have questions, drop your questions below. But I really need a break. So make sure to go get water. Make sure to go get water, take a stretch, do something. I'll be back in a little bit. Enjoy these music.
We're gonna burn it down. Burn it down. We're gonna burn it down. Burn it down. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder.
I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker.
Show them. Change the station with a new shit. Show them. Change the station with a new shit. Change the station. Change the station. Change the station with a new shit. With a new shit. Change the station. Change the station. Change the station with a new shit. With a new shit.
It's murder.